Hello, everyone. My name is Lola Afalabi. I am the founder of Healthy Credit Habits, and today is, you guessed it, Fix It Friday. Our topic this week has been credit card interest, in support of the theme this month of compound interest. And, I definitely want to ask you a question. Have you ever wondered what you and perhaps someone else are paying as far as interest on a similar purchase of the same amount, but the difference is you guys have different interest rates? Have you ever thought to consider how much more interest you or the other person is paying for the exact same thing over time just because of a difference in your credit score? Well, today's presentation, I want to kind of share with you or give you some insight into how compound interest, our credit scores, and how similar purchases made every day, similar to someone else, how they can vary and impact our pockets differently from a financial standpoint, or our buying power, how it can impact us differently, which may or may not give us the financial fluidity to invest in other things or purchase other things that we probably could had we not been paying as much interest as someone else. So we'll dive right in. So really, again, it's how much interest am I paying versus the next person. To kind of give you a quick definition of your interest rate, it's really the amount that you pay for borrowing money through the use of your credit cards. This is typically reflected as a yearly rate known as your APR, and this amount does vary by person based on your credit score. One thing I did want to share was, and it was new to me as well, so I thought this was a great learning opportunity, was that the maximum allowable interest rate on any credit card is 29.99%. I don't know if that's a safety belt or what, but it's kind of, scary to think that if credit card companies could charge more interest, they would, and how much more in debt would people be, given the fact that consumer and personal debt is pretty high right now. So here we have two people, just to kind of give you an idea of, one end of the spectrum versus the other. And two individuals, one Sam, the other person is Paul. Sam has a 540 credit score. He is an engineer. He's currently renting. He has a home ownership goal of purchasing within 2 years. And Sam has a credit card debt in the amount or outstanding balance on his credit card of $7,500. His interest rate based on his 540 credit score is 22.62%. And he's making a monthly payment of $150. Now, because of his interest rate and the amount that he's paying, and this is just an illustration here, if he were to make that consistent payment each month, not increasing not adding any additional purchases to this card, it would take him 153 months, which is 12.8 years, to pay this account in full. And over that period in time, he will have paid a total amount of interest on that $7,500 balance of $15,440. Now let's look at Paul. Paul has a 740 credit score. He's an IT analyst. He's also renting, and he's looking to purchase a home. He has a goal of within a year or so. He also has credit card debt in the amount of $7,500. However, his interest rate, his APR he's paying on that $7,500 is 13.99%. And that's pretty good considering what the market rate is commanding right now in today's economy. Now, Paul is also making the same monthly payment of $150. And based on that, it would take him 76 months to pay the account in full, which would be 3.6 years, having paid a total interest in the amount of $3,817. Now, can you imagine you versus someone else? You have a 200-point spread in credit scores between you. They're paying 13.99%, you're paying 22.62%, and you're making just above the minimum payment or maybe a little extra on top of that. However, the interest that you've paid is 5 times more than the person with a 740 credit score. Now, I don't know about you, but I would be upset. I would be upset that because of my credit score, however it got there, that it's costing me more than the next person. Let's continue. So I wanted to give you more of a graphical pie chart illustration here to really see from a holistic perspective. Sam has paid more in interest on the amount that he initially owed than that of Sam, right? Now, the interest on both sides of this page are red. However, Sam's is 3/4 of the entire pie chart versus Paul, which is a little more than 1/4 of the pie. Now, if you think about it, 3,000 versus 15,000, that's a lot of money. That's actually $11,623. Now, I don't know about you, but I could do a whole lot of things with an extra $11,623. Wouldn't you agree? You'd have an opportunity to perhaps take a much needed vacation, see the world, travel, get on a plane, train, bus, you name it. It'd give you an opportunity to perhaps think about maybe socking some of that away into an investment. Let your money grow a little bit, have that compound interest work for you versus against you. It'd give you an opportunity to consider maybe you want to put some money into additional education for yourself, whether it's another degree, what have you. You have the liquid funds to do so if you're not paying that in interest. And last but not least, you'd also have an opportunity to put something aside for savings. For that rainy day, if something were to happen, you now have access to funds without having to resort back to the same line of credit that you're being charged 22+% on, where now you're paying 15,000 in interest over time and your counterpart may be paying 3,000. Let's continue. So what I'd like to provide here is, in addition to kind of seeing how our credit score does have a huge impact on not only our interest rates, but how much we pay in interest over time, which impacts our ability to do those things that we'd like to do, such as vacationing, education, savings, or investing. I'd like to provide you with 3 tips, and there are more. However, 3 tips for today for how you can improve your credit score. Because the goal here is you want to start keeping more of that money in your pocket. You don't want to have to give it away. You don't want to have to not know when you're ever going to pay off that debt. And when you think about, man, I'm paying $15,000 in interest based on this illustration, that's a lot of cash for anybody, regardless of where you are financially. So my first tip is payment history. Now, your payment history, it makes up 35% of your credit score. That's a big deal. If you're not doing so already, get in the habit of staying on top of your bills. Time and time again, I always let my clients know You have to make sure that you're on top and on time with your payments. Be early. If you have extra money, in advance of your payment being due, go ahead and pay it. The worst thing you can do is while you're trying to restore your credit score is to crop up with new late payments on your credit report, because it impacts your ability to get more points back on your scorecard, which can put you in a better tier to be qualified for a better interest rate. Now, one great way to do this is to set up an auto payment. Schedule your payments in advance if you know you have a set due date for these things, or you can perhaps reach out and have the payments drafted automatically from your account. You do have options, and you don't want to be in a position where month after month you're calling your creditor to say, hey, I'm sorry. After a while they may do a courtesy, late payment reversal, but after a while they'll start reporting you, and they are not necessarily as accommodating as they once were. Second tip, utilization. Utilization makes up 30% of your credit score. Get into the habit of spending 30% or less of your available credit limit. Again, this demonstrates that you have a healthy relationship with credit. And when you've demonstrated that you're responsible, you can pay on time, you can manage the amounts that you're given, and you're not maxing out your cards, lenders are willing to throw more money at you. Versus when you're maxing out, you're over 50% utilized, you're hitting at 80-90% utilization, you find that lenders may reduce the amount of credit that they've lent you, which now impacts your utilization. And then you get late on payments, and it becomes a spiral. So let's just get in the habit of focusing on it. For every 1,000 that you are given in credit, you definitely want to make sure that you spend no more than $300 or less. Last but not least, monitor your credit report. I have a lot of clients. Many of them have not checked their credit report in months, if not years. And I think it's important, and oftentimes we don't want to face those things that we kind of have, swept under the rug, but you have to take the first step to seeing what's on your report, because you may be surprised to find that a lot of that information may not belong to you. Maybe the information was, your file was mixed up with someone else's, but there's no way to know that you've been walking around with bad credit and it's not even your credit, so you want to get in the habit of trying to be more proactive about viewing your credit report, seeing what's on there, making sure the amounts that are reflected, the accounts that are reflected, they're accurate, they're current, they're complete. And you have an opportunity to do this because they give all of us access to a free credit report from each of the bureaus every year. Now, I don't know about you, but it seems like when things are free, people don't always want to take advantage of it until, you're forced to pay for it, and then you want it for free. It's kind of interesting, a very interesting dynamic there. But if you don't already do so, you're not already in the habit of checking your credit report for free, definitely go on to annualcreditreport.com. The link is listed to obtain a free copy of your report. And you may be surprised that just some of the stuff that's listed there right now could be impacting you anywhere from 50 to 100 to 200 points. And you had no way of knowing that because you did not check. So those are my 3 tips for improving your credit score. Hopefully, if you have any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to us. You can email us at support@healthycredithabits.com. You can follow us and check out other tips and commentary on the Facebook page at healthycredithabits.com. We do also post this on our YouTube page, healthycredithabits.com, and we're also on Instagram at healthycredithabits. Again, with healthy credit, life is less expensive, as we saw here in the illustration today. It's about $11,000 more expensive when you don't have healthy credit. If you like this information, definitely please share with a friend. If you haven't already done so, like our page. Sharing is caring. I look forward to seeing you next week. Till then, be safe, have a great weekend, and I'll see you then.